So this presentation will be, I will be using a Miro board, and I post it in the chat once again for everybody that just newly arrived. So please click on the Miro board link. Just for convenience, I will also share my screen and, and the board. So you can, while I'm talking now, decide if you want to be looking at my screen, or if you want to on the Zoom screen, or if you want to be at the Miro board. Doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to talk about remote workshops and how to facilitate them, or give you some tips, and you will be also have a chance to share experiences with each other around this. And the first thing I want to say before we start is that the stuff in this presentation has been taken from a class, Efficient Remote Meetings and Collaboration. That is one-day class that I've done and developed with Jimmy Jandelin, and next chance to attend that class is 22nd of February. The material is also based on a poster that I created together with Jassal Sundman. And it's actually, you can download that poster right from here from the Miro board. So it's a little nice poster to remind you on what's important when you do remote facilitation. All right, the agenda for this 30 minutes is first now introducing the Miro board and the agenda of the workshop. Then I will give you a very quick overview of what's on this board, the facilitation tips here. Then I will show you quickly how to use breakout rooms, how to select in Zoom and choose by yourself which breakout room you want to attend, because then we're gonna do a 10-minute open space where you have a chance to discuss how remote facilitation, you know, in different kind of under different kinds of subjects or labels. And then we will regather and end with a little energizer. Okay, so let's give me a quick overview then of what's on this board. It's about remote facilitation, but just here is a little area about how to be a good meeting participant, right? That's like number one, to when you attend something remote, what is good tips to be a good participant? I mean, like having your camera on, to be present and don't try to do other stuff at the same time if you want to be a good active participant, etc. So there's some tips around that. Then there are a number of principles that we think is important when you run a workshop in general, but specifically when you run a remote workshop. Like, for example, clarity. That is the clarity around what is the purpose of this workshop. What's the intended outcome? Who is the participants that will be joining? And especially important when you run a remote workshop is how to foster engagement. It's so easily to get energy drained in remote workshops. So this is a particularly important principle. And of course, to prepare, and maybe that's extra important since it's much harder to read the room and to see that you take care of stuff, and that you understand the tools and tailor your tools that you're going to use, because remote workshopping is quite much about using tools. There is a process, of course, in preparing and executing a workshop. There's stuff you need to do before, to think around about, to test your equipment, to sign up with a co-facilitator and do the planning together with a co-facilitator. Using a co-facilitator is especially important when you're running remote workshops. How you open a workshop makes all the difference on how how well it will execute. So what to think about when you open it, and how to keep the energy during the workshop, how to solve, make good decision making and avoid getting stuck. And then how to close, to make it clear what the outcome was and what's the next step and so forth. And maybe what you will do after the workshop to take care of the results. Then here is an area about general tips around, for example, energy, what to do about that, and some energizers that you can use, some examples. And an example of number of tools for different purposes, and a little ideas around visual cues. Of course, there is a different challenges if your workshop is just a little team workshop with 5 to 6 people, or if it's a medium-sized workshop with perhaps around 20 participants, or a big presentation like this one. So you can see here on this Miro board, there are small yellow talk bubbles, and they represent the different kind of breakout rooms that I will soon start for you, and that where you can join. Depending if you want to discuss your challenges when you run a workshop around energy, or share your experience with others on how you have created energized workshops. Or if you want to talk about these principles, if you have other principles you want to add. And you can see I put post-it notes everywhere on this board that I invite you to use and put up stuff during your discussions, what you share with each other and so forth. It's not mandatory, but if you like to. Okay, so let's now see how you use breakout rooms in Zoom. So as soon as I've started the breakout rooms, you will get a little button in your Zoom window, assuming you don't have a too old version of Zoom. It will look something like this, breakout rooms. And when you click that button, there will come up a list of breakout rooms that then is running. And you can see how many participants that are in each of the rooms currently. And there will be actually 2 breakout rooms for each of these different discussion topics. And you can choose then just to click join. So, and choose a breakout room where it's a reasonable number of people, so there can be a good discussion. I would recommend that if there are more than like 6, 7, maybe it's hard to have a good conversation. So spread your energy around to the rooms with average size of people. What do I want to say more before we start? Maybe see, is there any questions? I will then stop my sharing. And then I will...
David, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
We have some late arrivals. Will they be able to see the Miro board link in the chat, or do you need to share it again?
I can continue sharing it again.
Great.
And I will now also open the breakout room and invite you to share your experiences and ask each other of how to solve different challenges when it comes to facilitating remote workshops and meetings. The rooms are open now. Now you should be seeing this little breakout room button in the window.
And David, you have to share the link again.
Sure.
We have a couple of more members in here.
So I can continue sharing it for every time I see a new person arriving.
I will tell you if you need to.
I can see the rooms are getting populated now. I hope you have great discussions there.
David, we have some comments in the chat, and I think you will have to share the link again.
Sure.
There is someone that has a problem with entering the room.
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, I cannot do very much about that if your
Okay.
Zoom version is too old. It's apparently working for a number of people, and maybe you have the chance to switch to a newer Zoom.
And you will share the board as well, and the work you're doing now. Or
The Miro board, yeah, I could try it again.
Hi, Jessica here. Is it possible for you to throw me into a breakout room since I don't see them? Or
Could try that, Jessica. Which breakout room? What would you like to discuss?
the energy one.
Anyone?
No, the energy.
All right. Okay.
That would be great.
So I'll try to put you in that room, Jessica.
Yeah.
Okay, Michael. So actually, it seems like I can put people in rooms. So if there's anyone that is still not in a room and have a too old version of Zoom, either you can install it or tell me to put you into a specific room.
David, can you see the chat?
Yes, I do. I see.
Okay, great.
So I'm working on it. Sorry, Mia, it's taking a little time. Of course, the one who are staying here, you can feel free to talk, put questions here in the main room if you want to, or just tell me if you want me to put you in a specific room if you don't have the latest version of Zoom with the breakout button yourself. I see we still have 18 participants here in the main room, all silent. Sure, yeah, I'll put you in this room. All right. So everybody is coming back now. The rooms are closed. And I want to end this presentation with two things. One thing is a little tip about tooling. So, and actually your personal setup when you run a workshop. So let me just show you how my setup looks like. So I have here a second screen where I can see what's actually being shared. because since that's sometimes hard when you run Zoom something, what is actually shown for that. So you can maybe see in the participants list, there is David's iPad. That's my iPad. Here I have a timer that shows me how much time is left. I have some notes on my telephone there. So some extra devices or notes to get, so you can keep track. And I really need that because I'm so confused usually. So if I don't have this structure around me, it quickly gets very unstructured. And I hope the discussions you had in the different breakout rooms were good. I saw that you were some of the rooms were quite crowded. I had to be out here, so I couldn't listen in. Maybe I will hear afterwards from some of you. Now, and let's end this with a little energizer that I think is kind of fun, and actually was in the board as a tip. So I want you all to go and run and find something orange and show in your camera. So your camera's on, get something orange and show it for us. So let's see what different kind of orange we might have. It's easy for me, of course, but since I know and I'm prepared. So there is a lot of orange things in this world. Yes. Yay, yay. Orange is quite common, so I weren't that inventive. Orange, a bit of an orange, I see there, Sebastian. And what you're holding, Marcus, I have no clue. Is it a pen or was it rubber? All right, let's try another color. Let's go and find something yellow. Marcus has a yellow cap. And there are a lot of pens. And a yellow Lego brick, of course, Henrik. Yeah, and is it yellow mustard, Michelle? Oh, right. Oh, it looks good. A yellow book. I had bananas. Actually, seems like I'm the only one here that thought about that. Yellow meaty. All right, let's try a last one. Go and get something green. More Lego, Henrik. But also, is that actually green? It looks kind of yellow to me, but maybe it's the camera.
It's actually very light green. It's lindblomsgrönt. I don't know the word for that.
And Hannah has something I would really like to have right now, something for sore winter lips.
Swedish
Myself,
pleasure.
I have an apple. And Jimmy, is that Mariana? It's a plant at least. Okay, so this is kind of a fun energizer you can use at any time. I hope, I think this was a good workshop with ideas for your own next remote workshop, regardless of size. And the Miro board will be there available and for you whenever you want to use it. And I will also put up a PDF of it and send out with the rest of the material after these workshops.
Okay, great.
Really ahead of time, so we have 5 minutes left for whatever questions you might want to put.
Or some extra time for a break if you need that. But if you have any questions, you can ask them in the chat.
The Miro board will continue be accessible, yes. So,
Okay.
Other question?
And I say thank you very much, David.
Thank you. Tips of good tools. Well, there in the board, there is this little area with a number of example tools for different kind of purposes. My personal favorite right now is Miro. And actually, as a little extra something, I want to, I could have shown it, I decided not to, but there is a very new tool. I haven't tried it before. It's called Gather Town. If you go to gather.town, it's like a game actually with that you can use for breakouts. I haven't tried it very much, but it seems to be really, really fun for social events and nothing else. Any other question?
Guess not. So should we take the break now?
I'm gonna stay here, so feel free to do what pleases you.
Yes.
Have you tried GatherTown?
Personally, yes, just a little. I don't have full understanding of how to use it yet. I mean the techniques, but you kind of create an area with number of rooms, and you can walk between the rooms, just like in an IRL gathering.
Yeah, I really like the concept. I've been waiting for something like this that works well. I've seen a few in the past that didn't work super well, but this looks promising if it works well.
We've tested it a couple of people, and it seems like the video and the quality seems good, and there are a number of fun games built in. So
I've heard of someone use it to recreate the office, like the team spaces, and people can walk around in it or join a team space or whatever they want to do, like they do in the office.
wow.
So I guess it has a built-in a video and audio thing.
Yeah, so whenever you're close to someone, you will hear and see that person.
Okay.
You can also have a podium, so everybody hears and sees you when you're there.
And can you also screen share?
And you can also screen share, yes.
Oh, awesome.
And, yeah. So it's really interesting.
It's quite customizable as well.
Yeah, you
in
can
terms of
create
rooms
your
and
own
layout.
David,
yes.
you have another question in the chat about bigger sessions.
Yeah. I would say the main takeaway, bigger versus compared medium, is the need for a co-facilitator is so much greater the more people you have in a session. And sometimes when it's really, really big sessions, you might need several co-facilitators. So with different tasks, like one keeping control of the chat, one keeping control of participants, or yeah. So
What do you consider a bigger session? How many participants?
I would call this a big session.
Yes.
With like almost 100 people. I've been participating in sessions with like 300. And then there were like 2 co-facilitators, and that was really, really important. That there were several co-facilitators.